Right, we're going to open up the extrusion table. I'm going to edit the table within CATIA V5. And when I edit the table, it brings up the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. And I'm going to change the B constraint in 10677 extrusion. I'm going to save that, and once that's saved, you'll notice that the part goes red and it'll bring up a message window from KnowledgeWare saying, hey, our Excel spread, your parameters have changed. And so I just want to double check that I have a 4-inch length for my B part. And indeed I do right there. And again, the part is red, meaning it needs to be updated, or it's changed, and so I select OK. So it updates the height B to 4 inches. Now I can also go into the Excel spreadsheet itself outside of CATIA and change it, and save it and close it. And I've changed it back to 2 inches, and the same thing will happen, and we'll get a message window from KnowledgeWare saying your spreadsheet has changed, and the part will be red. Select OK, and then notice that I'll need to update it. I'll select OK with the table, and it updates to 2 inches. Now, right now I'm going to select, I want to record a macro. And so a macro will record exactly every event that you do in a language. And I'm going to use the CatScript language. And I'm going to name the macro joggle dimension.catscript. It doesn't have to be this. You can name it whatever you want. You can leave it at the default name. You can rename it later. And you can store it in a library. You can set up your own libraries. I'm going to create a new library in the directory that my cat part is and where the design table is. And you click Start. But actually, I'm going to cancel out of this because I don't want to record any unnecessary events. So I'm going to actually go into the joggled profile sketch and then create my macro. So I'm going to select Macro, Start Record, start the macro, record the macro, and it wants to know the name, and give it joggled dimension. And I'm going to change to a CatScript, and now notice that the macro name went back to the default macro one. So just realize that sometimes it'll reset. That's okay. We'll leave it at that name and we can change it later. So now I'm going to change the depth constraint to 1 inch, and it's recording this right as we change each of these events. I'm going to change this value to 3.74 inches, and I'm going to change this parameter to 2.5 inches from 4 inches, and I'm going to hit stop. And so now I have a macro, and it recorded all the events that we did. And now I'm not recording, but I'm going to change it back to the default values. And the macros will allow us to change this joggled profile, whereas the extrusion table is allowing us to change the extrusion profile. And so just another way of showing you how we can get the user input and do things automatically using a macro. You could actually do this using a design table too. And you go in and you say edit, and you can run the macro and it'll do what we just did. So it just changed it by running the macro. And we'll go to macro, and I'm going to rename the macro to joggle dimension. .cat script, and it took it that time. And I'm going to show you the edit and what it looks like. So it's got a lot of stuff, but here's exactly what it did. It changed the length 1 value to 25.4, which is actually 1 inch. These are in millimeters. So we're looking for length 1, length 2, and length 3.